Hello, Klaus here, and welcome back to yet another video here at the channel. In today's video, we're going to have a review of the Sirui 24mm lens, and I'll run through some different tests showcasing what this anamorphic lens can do. So without further ado, let's get right to the video, and as usually I will talk you along the way. Let's go. So the build quality of the lens, it is quite heavy. It's around 800 grams. It's made out of metal and it doesn't have any plastic whatsoever on the body itself, and you could actually drop this on somebody and kill them. It's pretty heavy. If you want to see my unboxing, you can check that out right here in the corner. Also, the lens goes from 2.8 to f/16, and the aperture ring is quite hard, so you not accidentally push it out of the right aperture you want to be in. The focus ring is super smooth, and the minimum distance of focus is 60 centimeters, and it is buttery smooth. This time around, the lens does not come with a focus ring like the Sirui 35mm. So there is some difference with the 24mm. It is the heaviest of the lenses. It has an aperture of 2.8. Meanwhile, the two other Sirui lenses have an aperture of 1.8, so that is a full stop more than the new lens. And this time around, Sirui has also changed the filter thread size. On the 24mm, it is 72 centimeters, and on the other versions it's 68. Not a big deal, but it would have been nice to keep the same size.
Okay, so for the first test I'm just doing a bunch of handheld shots just to try out how the Sirui 24mm is. These are of course handheld and shot on the Blackmagic pockets in my camera 4K, doing various shots like slow motion and whatnot. For the next test, I wanted to test out the field of view here on the 24mm. I am 85 centimeters away from the lens, now swapping over to the 35mm, same spot, same distance, just so you can see the different field of views, and here on the 50. So that is quite punched in compared to the 24mm. So on this test, I was asked to do a center focus test on the minimum focus distance, in this case 60 centimeters, on f2.8, and in my opinion this looks pretty darn sharp. Here I do the same test but at f4, and I did compensate with the ISO to make the match better in camera, and again all the footage are shot on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Here we are at f5.6, still a very sharp image, but of course if you take a look at the field of view, that is going to change dramatically, going from the 2.8 to, for instance, the f8. It still looks pretty good and it's very sharp, and again, all the footage are changed with the ISO to match better. Here we go to f11, and I think these are nice, very usable shots. And again, the distance from the camera is 60 centimeters. So the minimum focus distance. And here we are at f16, doing the last shot. Nice it is.
And like you can see in the background, the bokeh balls are not as pronounced as on the 35 or the 50mm. And that is of course because of this wider field of view and the glass in general, and also that this is an f2.8 and not an f1.8. So, but they are still there and they look pretty neat. Okay, and here I'm just going to throw out the bokeh balls out of focus. So as you can see, they're not as pronounced as on the other Sirui anamorphic lenses. Also, what would a review be without a flare test? Here is a little bit of a flare test at a very close distance, and as you see, it's not as pronounced as the other ones actually. But it does flare pretty easy, as you can see. Of course, using a matte box would help that problem if it is a problem. Also, of course, we would do a flare test, of course, from a distance and out of focus to going into focus. Like that. Flare test done. And also here a test in the dark. And here just another flare test. As you see, if I put the light directly into the lens, it flares very easily. Of course, if I then move up the light, it will have a more light flare, which is also kind of nice. And also, as you see, the flare is all the way through the screen, more or less. And this is not that bad. I think it looks pretty good.
So I must confess to you guys, I do love the 24mm anamorphic lens from Sirui. I don't know if I like it the best, but it is a nice collection into my anamorphic kit, and I do believe these are going to make some of my projects look amazing. So last thing to hope is that Sirui would do a 85mm lens, which would be kind of awesome, I think. Well, but that is for Sirui to decide, of course. Anyway, I do hope you found this video useful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, share it with your friends if you think it will help them out, and if you want to be notified every time there's a new video on this channel, please hit that bell icon down in the corner. Until next time, keep filming, keep learning, and keep sharing.